Lieutenant Governor, thank you for taking the time to sit down today. We're going to speak about a lot of things, obviously. It's a big primary coming up Tuesday. First question is, why should people, especially in Sussex County, vote for you?
Great question. Well, being a Sussex Countyan who actually was the first in my family to go to college, raised on the farm, understand the roots and the values, whether you're Eastern Sussex or Western Sussex, really important, as a career educator, as a nurse who got her initial, at the age of 13, volunteer experience at VB Hospital. I've had that experience not only as a state rep for Kent County and also as a senator for Kent and Newcastle. For the past 8 years of second in command, ready on day one, having led the National Lieutenant Governors Association, I'm thrilled to be running for governor, to have the bold plan that's very innovative and it will really help attract folks to raise their families here, to grow here. And for Sussex Countyans, making sure we have those resources. A lot of times Sussex has been forgotten, other than our beautiful beaches or some of our manufacturing opportunities or, hey, farm girl, our chickens. We've got a lot to offer, and I need you to know, being the second woman to be elected, hopefully as your next governor. The last one was a farm girl from Sussex, and I also hope to be your next governor, second woman, but also the first nurse governor in America. But the 4 quick things I'll say, and I hope we have more conversation, 4 major things in 4 years: economics, education, healthcare, and quality of life. And those are the things I'm going to fight for our entire state, but I'll bring that Sussex roots with me through and through.
In Sussex County, we have had multiple attack ads sent out. I'm holding them right here in my hand. And what do you think about all of these?
Well, I can tell you this. Dark money, negative PACs have had a bullseye on my back. As a lone woman in this race, there's been quite a bit of frontline, almost bullying. And it's been very concerning. You know why? Because we have a person who owns TransPerfect, who singularly is spending $1 million just against me and helping Mr. Meyer. And why that is, he wants to change our corporate structure. And if that happens, you know what it means for families? 1/3 of our budget goes away. And we would need, without our corporate law structure, sales tax likely, higher property tax. I'm the one person in the race who did not stand with TransPerfect because I know what that means as a statesperson. And the negativity has been disgusting. The flat out libel, the slander against my family and me with my ethics and my credibility, it's been really disappointing. And as the next governor, I'll work with legislature to change some of that campaign financing so that people like Mr. Meyer, who has a Change Can't Wait PAC that has put out vitriol lies against me, that's inaccurate and wrong, that we can't stand that. And people can't hide behind that. Because his PAC, Change Can't Play, is pay for play. Donors, developers, warehouse owners, that before his county is zoning. And that's just not Delaware.
And this PAC says that you broke the law.
Yeah,
Did you?
No. Let me be emphatically clear. When we discovered how we needed to transition from lieutenant to governor, we reviewed our finances and needed clarification on how much we had to load our campaign. Let me be crystal clear. I have never used, nor my family, campaign funds. We are confident that the campaign has been loaned a lot more money from my family than I've ever received. And we refuted that, and I can tell you emphatically that when I'm governor, we're going to make changes so that no one goes through this. I self-reported. I was transparent. So calling me a criminal, saying I broke the law, is libel, it's slander. So if they're speaking it, if they're printing it, I need folks to know that. And it's been disheartening because never do we do that. I focus on what keeps Delawareans up at night. As a nurse, I worry about their food on their table, the roof over their head, their child's education. That is what I'm focused on.
Right. And these other ads we've gotten, and again, these have all come in the last week alone, seem to indicate that your opponent, and there are others, but Mr. Meyer is allied with Trump and that he's disputing multiple sexual harassment allegations, which of course he is named in 2 lawsuits, but to my knowledge he has not been personally charged with sexual harassment by an individual. Do you think these are misleading, like you say the attacks against you are?
No. Things of the sexual harassment are factual. Those PACs are public PACs. They are hardworking union members, they're teachers, they're hardworking construction workers who know what's at stake here: livable wages, good food, good jobs. And I can tell you emphatically, as a woman, the facts around sexual harassment are real and based upon facts. And as governor, I'm going to make sure, working with members of the General Assembly, that we get rid of non-disclosure agreements with sexual harassment. Mr. Meyer and his administration promoted a man who'd been a bully and a perpetrator. He knew that. That was in that first lawsuit. He got a pass. He was to do zero tolerance and to put guardrails up. That has obviously failed. His administration has not done that, and there's another case. You cannot turn a blind eye. You are unfit to lead this state if you are leaving and turning a blind eye and moving women backwards. And I can tell you from experience in this campaign, as a woman, I've had a much bigger bullseye and a lot more negativity and a lot of lies said about me. Facts are facts, lies are lies.
And let's talk about those facts. This report, of course, that was commissioned by the Delaware Department of Elections, phrases that were used in there say it was misleading and inaccurate. Are those terms you think are affiliated with a future governor?
I can tell you this. There's no one more transparent than when you go to a nurse who finds an issue. And what do? We fix it, we resolve it, we move on. And when we discovered that we needed clarity on what we legitimately paid for with our credit cards and other loan funds, that's what we needed. And when we found that there were bookkeeping mistakes, and I regret those. I'm sorry that those happened. You know, we started at our kitchen table, small state rep, Senate race. We found that, oh my goodness, my husband made bookkeeping errors. We got a campaign treasurer who's got experience, and we've cooperated every single step of the way after my opponents or others called for a confidential investigation. We cooperated, we reported this. There is no more to this. It's like a tempest in a teapot. And we just need folks to know that the latest and other reports have been inaccurate and not complete. And we're working hard to change the laws in the future, because no one should go through this for being open and saying, hey, we got to make amendments to our report for bookkeeping errors.
You said the inaccurate and reports was this independent investigation that was...
Yes, inaccurate. Listen, there are no charges. There is no fraud here. There is no illegal activity. The Attorney General, as well as the Department of Elections, has said so. We have been forthright up front. And it's just alarming that this issue of my transparency has taken on over the issues we should be focused on. We have a man running for governor who has turned a blind eye to patterns of sexual harassment in his administration. We have somebody running for governor who literally has a pay-to-play PAC with large developers who come before the county with zoning and land use plans. The list goes on. In me, you have the career educator who's so happy to be endorsed, by our governor, 40 other state elected officials, our AFL-CIO, our teachers union, our Stonewall Democrats, because they know I'm ready on day one. And they know I have that vision to lead. And no one is talking about the housing. Nobody's talking about the issues of healthcare and why we need more medical education and health providers that I'm going to bring to Sussex County. That's where we should be focused. This is something that has unfortunately been a bullseye, because you know what? We have dark money. Phil Shaw wanting to buy Delaware. And let me be emphatically clear with you all and with the voters, we cannot let Delaware or our governorship be for sale. Not happening.
And while, like you said, in the report finds, or according to the Attorney General, you did not break the law. That's
yes.
what she said. There are some things in this report that, including $170,000 put on points credit cards, which your attorney said is not illegal. It's not. But do you think that's right?
I can share with you this. In our rebuttal, we made it emphatically clear my family has never benefited. And the Attorney General and the Department of Elections, as you said, has found nothing. There is nothing there. And what's ironic is that in that report, I'd hope that you would read the rebuttal that has been submitted. And it was unfortunate that this report somehow got FOIA'd before it was complete with our rebuttal, that would refute that there were multiple sources missed, that we are clearly competent. We loaned much more money, and the bottom line is that Our credit cards, who wants to use credit cards? You have to pay fees. I mean, it's ridiculous. I work hard. I haven't had a family vacation in 20 years. To make those kinds of statements were offensive to me. It was offensive. But I've participated, I'll cooperate, I'll continue to cooperate because that's who I am.
So you say it's offensive to use credit cards, but did you?
No, not offensive to use credit cards. It's offensive that he said that we did it for points or a vacation. That was offensive to me.
So you did not do that?
I haven't had a vacation with my family in 20 years. What little bit of travel I've done has always been around work and the business. So to me, it was offensive.
As governor, and you say transparency and integrity are absolutely key for you.
Yes.
If you are elected, do you believe that every single penny of Delaware money needs to be accounted for at all times?
I have the experience. Listen, I'm ready on day one. The other candidates have never had to do the state budget. Sure, one of the county execs had a little tiny budget of like $300 million. I know this $6 billion budget inside and out. I have lived through, worked through in the legislature, the Capitol Committee. I know how to work through the funds. We have had 2 major recessions, 6 budget deficits. Absolutely, and you have accounting and you have systems that are in place, and we've always had a balanced budget. I'm so proud, with our administration, we literally have not raised personal income taxes the entire time. We've created 32,000 jobs. We are leading on the cusp and totally, absolutely ready on day one, have relationships across the aisle, know how to move Delaware's budget forward, and we're going to address education. We're going to bring free childcare and early ed to the state for every child. We're going to make sure that we're investing in workforce and development, building in hospitality and tourism, bringing those healthcare providers that we need in Sussex especially, that we have a shortage, and really working on the housing crisis, that people have houses they can afford. That's where our focus is going to be in this budget, and that's where I'm ready on day one to lead that.
But my question is, do you believe as governor that every penny needs to be accounted for at all times?
We do. We absolutely do. And it's so important to have fiscally sound budget. And to me, that's absolutely paramount.
And what else do you want voters to know about this campaign, about you as a candidate, as they go into Tuesday, which is probably by all accounts one of the biggest primaries we've seen in 20 years?
Well, I just want people to recognize that before you have a choice of a woman who's ready on day one, who has that vision, and not only the experience, but the ethics and the integrity. And through this entire process, the false ads, the negativity, question, why would somebody be putting ads out with $2 to $3 million hitting against me because there's a hidden agenda? Dark money is trying to buy our governorship. But think about what I'm going to bring to our state. Economic development. I understand Sussex. I'm the only candidate in this race, I guarantee you, who's been raised and can drive a combine and a tractor still. But besides that, understanding also as a career educator why the teachers union is behind me, what we have to do to invest to elevate our children, continue working in mental health, behavioral health. You've seen me on the streets of Sussex as that nurse who goes out, who cares, who takes food. During COVID, day one, I was on the streets of Delaware overseeing the pandemic resurgence. That unique talent is what I bring every day to Delaware. A lot of people have my personal cell. It's not going to change. In Bethany, you're going to have that same leader who is not only going to lead in healthcare and also with the housing and the arts and hospitality, our environment, which is so critical to Sussex. Being raised down there in Bethany by name, making sure that we have the investments for our coastline that are really important, and most importantly, my ethics. And someone who will be a leader, who will not tolerate or turn a blind eye to patterns of workforce harassment. I would have a zero tolerance, as Mr. Meyer obviously has turned a blind eye to that. And the fact that we have in front of us persons who can comfortably go out into lies and slander against me when there are no charges and there's no issue, that ought to be concerning to people. But beyond that, look at the leader who's ready. Look at the person that's got the endorsements of our governor, the Delaware Democratic Party, the Stonewall Democrats for my uplifting diversity and equity, hardworking family members with the AFL-CIO, and the teachers union, and of course, Emily's list. Really important, I've been the nurse at the bedside who has been there. As a child, my father, serious accident, left in a wheelchair. My mother with brain cancer, my brother with advanced cancer, all at the same time. I have lived what people face every day. I wasn't able, like my opponents, to write a $600,000 or $700,000 check, which each of them did, just in this election. But what I've done is given you the Bethany who will give of herself like she does every day, the servant leader who is truly committed to make us the best place to live, work, and raise a family.
And what would you say for people who say if ethics is your biggest issue, that your campaign finance is not ethical?
There's nothing more transparent than halting your own finances and saying, hey, let's amend our reports. Somehow that's gotten lost in this entire process. That is the most transparent thing a person could do. And we fixed it, and we've reported, and we have moved on. Unfortunately, other people who are desperate, when you're credentialed and you're qualified and you're ready, particularly as a woman, they do character assassinations. And so I'm really sorry that people have had to experience that. You know, I regret that there were those bookkeeping errors that occurred, but I know that Delawareans don't want their state for sale, and they don't want a sore loser who lost in our Chancery Court to come and buy our state and our governor. And so in me, I'm not bought, and I'm the person that is really ready to lead the state.
Can voters trust you?
I would hope. I vaccinated over 4,000 of the Delawareans over a 5-month period. I brought food to the table. When we had the infant formula crisis, I brought that. Recently, you saw me at the Milton School. We brought the basic needs closets where children were hungry. We did that. We brought the first AI device in this country, working with the White House for food security, food waste. For people who need food, they got coupons now with SNAP and TANF. Never had that. They should trust me. I brought the first overdose system of care, mental health parity I fought for. I fought for our state retirees. When they did not want Medicare Advantage, I fought for Medicare Advantage. And I brought the first state stroke system of care in legislation, and telehealth. When the insurance industry said telehealth won't ever happen, I brought that. I think my record's there, my vision's clear, my transparency couldn't be even more wide open. But the bullseye that's falsely on my back with the false attacks, that needs to stop. And I really want people, when they go to the polls, to know when they vote for the second woman governor and America's first nurse governor, they had the most trustworthy, transparent, caring governor they will experience.
Is there anything else you would like to add, Lieutenant Governor?
You know, again, I think you have captured everything. You know, with my endorsements, my commitment, my vision, I'm really excited, you know, for the future of Delaware, and hope that folks will go out and vote early or are voting on the 10th, and that, you know, when we wake up on the 11th, you know, we're one strong community and one forward-looking state.